Facebook Live. This is Wanda Strickfaden with Improved Credit Consulting Firm, and I'm here driving again on a Saturday morning to talk to you guys about how you can erase debt. This is going to be a short live video. I'll tell you why it's going to be short. First of all, there's only a few specific ways of getting debts removed from your credit report. So knowing that fact, it's not going to take me long to talk to you guys about it. So I'm going to keep my eyes on the road while I explain a little bit more about how to erase debt from your credit report. Before I do that though, I really want to talk to you about how to stay away from companies that promise to erase everything on your credit report. And I'm sure if you Google credit repair, you'll see a lot of scam companies out there that say they can erase everything, including tax liens and judgments, including debts that have been on your credit report that are your debts. They're basically advertising everywhere, we can erase your debt. Stay away from companies like that because, first of all, 9 times out of 10, they're scam. Another thing is that they're basically just trying to take your money. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to put you in a monthly membership fee program in hopes that you'll stay a member for a long period of time, and you're wasting your money. You may see maybe 1 or 2 items removed out of the 20 debts that you may have, but it's not worth your money and it's not worth your time. So let me explain legally how you can remove debt from your credit report. Now, when it comes to debts on your credit, the first thing you want to do is be able to pull your credit report online. And I've mentioned in previous Facebook Live videos how to pull your free credit report online, which you can go to www.annualcreditreport.com. That's a great site to go to pull a free credit report with each bureau. Once you get access to your free credit report, then you're going to want to look on your account history and figure out the debts that are reporting how old they are. It's really important you figure out how old they are. And this is what I mean by that. Let's say you have, let's just say Bank of America credit card debt that you opened up in the year 2000. And the last time you made a payment on that debt was, let's say, 2001. You know you've only had it for 1 year and it went into collections, and now you have a balance of $1,000. Well, if you know that it went into collections in 2001, then you know that the debt is, 15 years old? So with that fact alone, you want to look at debts that are really over 7 years or older from the date of last payment. So if you can figure out when you made your last payment and when it was closed, just by looking at the account, then you can determine, is this debt over 7 years old? Now, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that's one of the laws that you want to really pay attention to. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, it's for consumers like you and I. It states very clearly that if you have a debt and it's over 7 years old from the date it was charged off, that's really important you remember that, from the date it was charged off. And that would mean that if Bank of America wrote off your account, in 2001, then obviously you would add 7 years from that date, and you would basically realize it's over 7 years old. So if you're not sure when it was charged off, the best thing you can do is you can basically contact Bank of America, asking them just one specific question: can you please verify when my account was charged off? Now, if you call Bank of America, if that's your creditor and you have a debt with them, and they tell you, well, ma'am or sir, how would you like to make your payment? Do not move forward with that conversation. You just say, no, I'm not calling to make a payment. I'm not even calling to verify that debt is mine. All I'm calling about is this: can you please give me the date this account was charged off with Bank of America? And that representative is required to give you that information, okay? So if that representative doesn't know when it was charged off, you hang up the call. Because what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to collect on that debt. And if you even verify that you're willing to make a payment on the debt re-ages immediately, and the whole 7-year clock starts all over again. So you want to be very careful you don't get involved in that. So basically you're going to want to contact the debtor and find out when it was charged off without making any payment agreements to the debt, so that you can avoid the whole re-aging process, so that 7-year clock does not start over again. Once you know the date that it was charged off, you can prepare a letter and send it to the Bureau, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. It's very simple. And you can say, I spoke to Representative John Smith at extension 123 in the collections department of Bank of America, and he verified that my debt is over 7 years old. I would like for you to investigate that and please remove the debt from my credit report. This is the legal way of doing that. Once you verify that the debt is over 7 years old and they confirm it, the dispute process will take place. And it usually takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for a dispute to be resolved with the Bureau. So once you submit a letter with an explanation of what you're disputing and why, you'll get results of that dispute within 30 to 45 days. So that's the best way of getting items removed from your credit report if they're really old. Now, it may be where you dispute something and within 4 to 6 weeks, when you get results of that dispute, like an updated credit report, it may still show up on your credit report. That happens a lot. And if it does, I highly recommend you consider hiring a professional like us with Improved Credit Consulting Firm. We can help you investigate, determine what's going on with that debt, and if we ever need to file complaints against the Bureau for unresolved disputes, we can do that for you in order to get that debt removed permanently. And I will give you a story. I had a client of mine who had actually his debts were close to 15 years old, and he had over $100,000 in debt. He was devastated. He thought he'd never be able to become debt-free. We went ahead and did the due diligence of writing letters to the bureaus, filing complaints, and within a 60-day time frame got all of that debt removed, every single penny. And recently, just to give you an idea of how our process works and how good we are at what we do, we had a doctor who contacted us and said to us, I have over $500,000 in student loan debt. I'm never going to be able to buy a home, let alone buy a car. And he's right. With that kind of debt, there was no way he was going to ever be able to buy a home. So what we did is we went ahead and we did the due diligence of the investigation and found out that his student loans were over 8 years old, and went ahead and disputed those items, filed complaints. Once we did that, we were able to get every single debt off his credit file, meaning that every single student loan debt reflected a zero balance. That is a big deal. $500,000 in student loan debt that was over 8 years old, we resolved it for that doctor. So that just gives you a good example of what can be done when you follow the law and you do things correctly. Now, if you dispute an item and you know it's not over 7 years old and you're hoping that it gets removed from your credit report, you're damaging your credit further. I'll tell you why. Two things could happen. First, it can re-age. It'll show a new charge-off date. It'll show a new collection date. Things like that can reactivate. You want to be very careful with that because that can decrease your score further. So you want to be extremely careful. You don't dispute items that are not over 7 years old, especially if it belongs to you, okay? Now, the second thing will happen is that your scores will drop. If it re-ages the debt, meaning that it shows a new charge-off date or starts showing a new collection date, your scores can drop just by one dispute with one debtor, anywhere from 10 up to 20 points, and that is a lot. And you can't imagine, you know, every single point matters when it comes to your score, so you want to be very careful with that process. So I really recommend that you make sure you hire a professional, or you do your due diligence and you investigate and you find out the details. How old is this debt? When was it charged off? And then provide a letter, just a simple letter, letting the Bureau know that you did your due diligence, you investigated the count and verify that it was over 7 years old, and that you would like for them to remove the debt due to the 7-year clock with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The bureaus will know what you're talking about, and usually they'll do their investigation and confirm it, and then hopefully remove it. So now, this is another way of getting debts removed. If you have medical debts, credit card debt, installment debts, meaning like personal lines of credit, student loan debt that you never applied for, even mortgages. I've had customers come to me wanting to buy a house and not realizing that there was already a mortgage on their credit and they never applied for it. So that happens a lot. If you ever notice an account like that you never opened up, reporting on your credit file, you can absolutely dispute it. You don't have to contact the lender or the creditor. You can immediately dispute it, verifying that you may be a victim of identity theft. And in that letter, you can put, please place a fraud alert on my credit report. That'll protect your credit temporarily. Just want you to know that. There are other live videos that I talked about identity theft. So watch that video, and it explains in detail how to protect your credit from ID theft. So with that being said, if debts are on your credit file and they don't belong to you, you can dispute them with the Bureau, letting them know it does not belong to you and to remove it from your credit report. Within 4 to 6 weeks, the bureaus will update that information, or they may remove it, letting you know that the debt was verified not belonging to you and removed. If for some reason there is a debt on your credit file, you know it's not your debt, you know it doesn't belong to a spouse or one of your children, then you definitely want to file an identity theft police report immediately after disputing that. Okay, so if it still remains on your credit file, you want to file a identity theft police report immediately. Then you're going to submit another letter with a copy of that police report, letting the Bureau know that you went ahead and moved forward with a police report. You would like for them to reinvestigate the debt to confirm it does not belong to you. Now, usually that will help. The bureaus will look at that and say, okay, well, they took it pretty serious now. They went ahead and filed a police report, so we're going to go ahead and remove that debt. So hopefully that'll happen. But if it doesn't, for any reason, we're here, Improved Credit Consulting Firm. You can go to our website at www.debt.com, and you can also call us at 704-877-8739. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Just know that we are here. There are professional companies like us that can really help you fix your credit in a good, timely manner, and you'll experience amazing results. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. I am going to talk about how to establish credit and how to get funding for student loans. I know a lot of clients are having issues with applying for student loans for themselves or for their children. I'm going to teach you what lenders are looking for in order for you to qualify for a really good student loan, and how to save money once you graduate, because that's quite an expense when you're applying for student loans. You will want to know how you can save money after you graduate from college. So join us next Saturday at 9 a.m. on how to establish credit and apply for a student loan. I'll see you soon.